Police officers corner a notorious hacker named Trinity at a hotel in Mega City. With impossible speed and strength, she takes them out and escapes arrest, until men in suits and sunglasses arrive, showing similar supernatural abilities. She approaches a phone booth, but one of the men drives a truck toward it. She runs into the booth and grabs the phone, disappearing just as the truck crashes into the booth. Thomas Anderson, a software engineer who moonlights as a computer hacker under the alias Neo, wakes at his desk. He finds a message on his computer. "The Matrix has you," and "Follow the White Rabbit." At the door, Neo meets one of his customers who invites him for a night out. Although hesitant, he decides to join them when he notices the tattoo of a white rabbit. At the club, Trinity approaches Neo, brings her lips close to his ear, and tells him she knows he has been looking for him. But she reveals that what Neo truly seeks is the answer to the question. And Neo knows the question. What is the Matrix? She tells him the answer is out there, and it will find him if he wants it to. At work the next morning, Neo's delivered a package, and in it finds a cell phone. It rings. Neo answers to hear the voice of the man he's been searching for, Morpheus. Morpheus warns they are coming for him, and peeking from his cubicle, Neo sees 3 conspicuous men in suits and sunglasses. Morpheus instructs Neo to run into an empty office where he is given a choice: escape on the scaffold or face arrest. Neo climbs onto the building's ledge and nearly falls. "I can't do this," he says, and instead accepts arrest. He is brought to an interrogation room and surrounded by the men in suits. They offer to absolve him of his cybercrimes if he helps them capture the known terrorist, Morpheus. Neo gives them the finger and asks for his phone call. "What good is a phone call," the man asks, "if you are unable to speak?" Neo's mouth disappears as his lips fuse together. The men throw him on the table and insert a spider-like machine into his belly button. Neo wakes in bed and figures it was all a dream. Then he receives another call from Morpheus. He tells Neo to go to the Adams Street Bridge if he'd like to meet. There, he's picked up by Trinity and 2 others. They extract the bug from his belly button, which Neo is shocked to learn is real. With the tracking device removed, they bring him to meet Morpheus. He tells Neo why he's there. It's because Neo knows something is wrong with the world, even if he can't say exactly what it is. Morpheus offers 2 pills. Take the blue pill and wake up in bed as if none of this happened. Or take the red pill to stay and learn the truth, after which there will be no turning back. Neo takes the red pill. Morpheus brings him to a room where Trinity and others work on some machinery connected to a chair. As Neo sits, Morpheus explains that the pill was part of a trace program to pinpoint Neo's location outside the Matrix. As the process begins, reality seems to distort. Then Neo wakes up naked in a mechanical pot of red fluid and looks around to see thousands of others just like it. Suddenly, wires plugged into his body disconnect, and the tub drains him down a tube until he splashes into a pool below, and he is quickly picked up by a ship. Inside, he sees Morpheus and stays conscious just long enough to hear him say, "Welcome to the real world." Later, Neo wakes in a bed dressed in ragged clothes. He pulls a wire from his arm and finds a mechanical socket on the back of his neck. Morpheus greets him and begins to reveal the truth. It is not 1999 as Neo believes, but closer to 2199. He asks Neo to follow him. "This is my ship," he says, the Nebuchadnezzar. And he introduces the crew: Trinity, APOC, Switch, Cypher, Mouse, Tank, and Dozer. Tank and Dozer are brothers. They have Neo sit in a chair where a cord is plugged into the socket on the back of his neck. He wakes inside a virtual world where Morpheus greets him and explains that they are in a program where anything can be loaded. He tells Neo that the world he knows, the reality Neo has been living in, is not real, but is a computer simulation known as the Matrix. The real world is an apocalyptic desert, and Morpheus and Neo suddenly find themselves in a digital rendition of it. He tells Neo the bits and pieces they know. Humanity created artificial intelligence, which grew beyond their ability to control. War broke out, so humans scorched the sky to block the sun which powered the machines. Without solar energy, machines found a new power source: humans. They created endless farms where humans are produced and used as batteries, while their minds are held prisoner in the Matrix. Neo panics, not wanting to believe any of it. They wake him in the real world, and he continues to panic until he vomits and passes out. Later, Morpheus tells Neo that when the Matrix was first built, there was a man born inside who had the ability to change whatever he wanted, to remake the Matrix as he saw fit. It was he who freed the first of us, Morpheus says. After he died, the Oracle prophesied his return, and that his coming would hail the destruction of the Matrix, end the war, bring freedom to our people. He believes that Neo is this man, that Neo is the One. After some rest, it is time for Neo's training to begin. He meets Tank and notices the man has no mechanical plugs on him. Tank was born in the real world, outside the Matrix. He tells Neo about the last human city of Zion, located deep underground near Earth's core where it's still warm. Then, Neo receives training, as Tank uploads knowledge of jujitsu into his mind, along with Kempo, Taekwondo, and many other forms of combat. After 10 hours of downloading skills, Morpheus pays Neo a visit. "I know Kung Fu," Neo says. "Show me," Morpheus replies. They spar inside a virtual dojo, but Morpheus never loses the upper hand as he moves impossibly fast. He explains that the rules like a body's physical limits, or even gravity, can be bent inside the Matrix. They continue, and this time, Neo moves faster and finally hits Morpheus. So, Morpheus asks Tank to load the jump program. Suddenly, they find themselves on the roof of a skyscraper. "Free your mind," Morpheus tells Neo, before leaping impossibly high from one building to another. Outside the simulation, the crew watches nervously. No one has ever made the first jump. If Neo does, he may actually be the One. Neo leaps off the building and falls to the ground, which warps and bends to prevent a lethal landing. Back in reality, Neo is surprised to find his mouth bleeding. Morpheus explains that your mind makes the experience real, and confirms that death in the Matrix means death in reality. Inside the program again, Morpheus demonstrates that no one plugged into the Matrix can be trusted, because at any time, they can be taken over by an agent, the men in suits and sunglasses. Agents are protectors of the Matrix, and anyone who has ever fought one has died. Sooner or later, Morpheus says, they will have to face them, and he believes Neo will be the first to do so successfully. Although agents are impossibly fast and strong, they are still subject to physical laws, which, as the One, Neo will soon be free of. Exiting the simulation, they find their ship being chased by a Sentinel, a squid-like machine that destroys rogue humans. They land quietly, shut off the power, and prepare an EMP, or an electromagnetic pulse. They disable any electrical systems in the blast radius. "It's the only weapon we have against the machines," Trinity explains. The Sentinels pass by without incident, and the EMP is not used. Over a drink, Cypher laments to Neo how he regrets not taking the blue pill, and undercuts Morpheus' promise that Neo is the One. "A little piece of advice," he says. "You see an agent, you do what we do. Run." Inside the Matrix, Cypher meets with an agent and finalizes their agreement. The machines will wipe Cypher's memory and put him back in the Matrix as a wealthy, successful man to live in blissful ignorance. In return, he will give them Morpheus. Later, Neo is brought back inside the Matrix to meet the Oracle. Before seeing her, he asks Trinity what happened at her meeting with the Oracle. She starts to answer, but hesitates and stops herself. Morpheus is more forthcoming, telling Neo that the Oracle is the one who told them the prophecy of the One, and she told Morpheus that he would find the One. He explains that she is a guide that helps you find the path. In the waiting room, Neo sees children referred to as potentials. They each show strange abilities, including one who bends spoons with his mind. He tells Neo that the trick is to realize
there is no spoon.
Neo tries and is able to bend it as well. He is brought in to see the Oracle and finds a woman baking cookies. She asks if Neo thinks he is the one. When he is uncertain, she explains that if you are the one, you know it. Then she has a closer look at him. "You already know what I'm going to tell you," she says. "I'm not the one," he responds. Then she tells him that despite this, Morpheus believes in it so strongly, he will sacrifice his life to save Neo's. She says that one of them will die, and it will be up to Neo to decide who. Then she gives him a cookie, and he leaves. On the way out, Neo spots a cat, then sees it again. "Oh, déjà vu," he says. This catches the attention of his crew. They inform him that déjà vu is typically a glitch in the Matrix when they change something, and Mouse finds their exit suddenly blocked by brick walls, just before he is killed by a tactical team. They were sent by the agents who were tipped off by Cypher. Knowing that telephone hardlines are needed to exit the Matrix, the line is cut, and they are trapped inside the building. Their operator Tank watches from outside the Matrix and helps them find a place to hide, inside the walls. And that works, until Cypher gives away their position. A policeman fires into the wall until he's replaced by an agent. The agent grabs Neo through the wall, but Morpheus breaks out to fight him off. "You must get Neo out," he shouts. "That's all that matters." Neo wants to stay and help, but Trinity grabs him and forces him to follow. They fight their way out, though Cypher purposefully trips so it can appear he was inadvertently left behind. Morpheus fights the agent, who introduces himself as Agent Smith. They fight until Smith gets the upper hand and has Morpheus taken by the cops. Now separated from the rest of the group, Cypher finds a phone with Tank's help and exits, joining Tank and his brother Dozer in the real world. Before the rest can follow, Cypher picks up a lightning rifle and shoots Tank, then Dozer. Trinity calls for Tank, but Cypher is the one who answers the phone. He rants about how tired he is of fighting and living in their cold, dark reality. As Cypher rants, he unplugs APOC, who dies immediately. Then Switch. And as he reaches for Neo's plug, Tank reveals that he survived the earlier attack and kills Cypher with a lightning gun, then helps Trinity and Neo out of the Matrix. Still inside, Morpheus is brought to a skyscraper and interrogated by Agent Smith. He tells Morpheus that the first Matrix was designed as a paradise where everyone would be happy. But it was a disaster. No one accepted the program. The perfect world was a dream that humans kept trying to wake up from. Morpheus is injected with something which, after enough time, will crack his mind, so he'll tell the agents what they want to know. Monitoring from outside the Matrix, Tank explains to Neo that the agents want codes to Zion's mainframe computer, given to the leader of every ship. If an agent got into their mainframe, they could destroy humanity. Tank insists they have to pull the plug and kill Morpheus to keep the code secret and protect Zion. But before he can, Neo stops Tank and says that he will enter the Matrix to rescue Morpheus. The Oracle told him that he would have to choose who lives, him or Morpheus. So he believes that if he sacrifices himself, Morpheus will live. And he believes the Oracle that he is not the one, so his life is not worth saving over Morpheus's. They think Neo is crazy, but agree to give him a chance, though Trinity insists on joining him. In the loading program, Neo tells Tank they'll need guns, lots of guns. And as the weapons are loaded, Trinity warns, "No one has ever done anything like this. That's why it's going to work," Neo says. Smith asks the other agents to leave him alone with Morpheus. He removes his earpiece so he is not monitored, and tells Morpheus how much he hates this world. He can't take the smell of it any longer, and to be free, he needs to complete his mission. He needs Morpheus to give him the codes. Downstairs, Neo and Trinity use their impossible speed, acrobatics, and guns to fight their way up to the roof. Things go smoothly until an agent arrives. Neo fires repeatedly, but it dodges every bullet. When the agent fires back, Neo dodges all but one bullet, which knocks him to the ground. The agent approaches and points his gun, then, "Dodge this," Trinity says, before shooting the agent in the head. She asks Neo how he moved so fast. "You moved like they do," she says, but Neo doesn't have an answer. Using a helicopter left by the tactical team, Neo and Trinity fly to the side of the building and grab Morpheus. Once they get away from the carnage, Neo tries telling Morpheus the truth. "The Oracle," Neo says. She told you," Morpheus interrupts. "Exactly what you needed to hear. That's all." Tank finds them a hard line at the subway station, and they head to it. Morpheus and Trinity exit just before Agent Smith arrives and destroys the phone so Neo cannot follow them. "Run, Neo, run," Trinity whispers. But Neo stays. For the first time in known history, a human holds his own against an agent. And in the midst of their fight, Neo leaves Smith to be hit by an oncoming subway. Then, the agent steps off the subway to continue his pursuit. And seeing the fight can go on forever, Neo runs. In the real world, Sentinels approach the Nebuchadnezzar. Morpheus orders them to prepare the EMP, but Trinity warns they can't activate it until Neo is out. If it goes off while he's jacked in, it'll kill him. "I know, Trinity," Morpheus says. "Don't worry, he's gonna make it." Neo runs as agents appear at every corner, replacing nearby civilians to chase him. He reaches the room where a phone and his exit await. Neo opens the door and finds Agent Smith, who shoots him point blank in the heart. Neo looks at the blood pouring from his chest. Then the agent shoots him 8 more times. "It can't be," Morpheus says as Neo's heart stops. As Sentinels cut into the ship, Trinity tells Neo that the Oracle told her she would fall in love, and the man she loved would be the one. "So you see," she says, "you can't be dead. I love you," then kisses him. Neo's heart beats again, and inside the Matrix, he stands. When the agents fire on him, Neo holds up his hand and stops the bullets. Then he effortlessly fights Smith with one hand. Finally, he flies into the agent and destroys him from the inside. Neo runs to the phone, and just after he exits, they activate the EMP and stop the Sentinels. Neo wakes up and returns Trinity's kiss.